Welcome to the Matter Financial Report. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and I'm excited to be here today because our host, as always, is the man himself, Michael Matter. Michael, how are you doing? How's the greater Sacramento area? What's going on there?
Tony, we've been seeing the sunshine quite a bit lately. The fog's finally rolled out. It feels like spring's about to be around the corner, so we are doing very good. How about yourself out in Minnesota?
Oh, I've said it before. I'll say it again. And our listeners will hear me say it again, too, at a later date. But if I was any better, my name would be Michael Matter. I've said it before. I'll keep saying that. I mean it. I am doing great, really good. I mean, there's so much going on right now. We had the Super Bowl, the Olympics. There's a lot going on with the economy. I mean, there's a lot for people to be thinking about. And of course, top of mind for so many of our listeners are healthcare costs. And that's why I'm glad you're going to talk about that today. I'm going to ask you about that. But first, how have you been? You're doing good, right? You're keeping busy?
Keeping very busy, Tony. It's actually too busy. So, been coaching my son's basketball team,
That's
which
right. How's
turned out to
coaching
be
going? Now, you haven't yelled at the kids yet. You haven't thrown
no,
anything
but
yet,
I have a
have you?
whistle, so I don't have to yell. So when
Yeah,
the
but I
whistle
mean at the
blows,
parents. I mean at the parents. Like, do you
no,
have
the
to use the
parents are
whistle on
amazing.
the parents? They
No,
behave themselves?
they've been amazing.
That's
The
good.
refs
That's
have
good.
gotten a little more strict with calling travels and double dribbles, so the parents are starting to grumble a little bit more
How
because
old are
there's
these kids?
7 and 8 years old.
Okay. And the refs are calling traveling and double dribbles?
Yes,
Yeah.
and so
You might want to pull the refs aside and say, you know what? If you want to call more traveling calls or double dribbles, 15 and above. 15 and above.
well they don't, and then they stop once you get to the NBA.
Yeah.
So you can
Yeah.
travel in the
Yeah.
NBA, but you
Yeah.
can't at 7 and 8.
Oh
But you
my
know what,
goodness.
Tony?
Like the traveling when I was in high school, and I obviously I'm not a basketball player, but I had fun with it. I played one-on-one with friends and I would watch games. But I had friends who played basketball for a high school team and did quite well. You know what I mean? The varsity team. But they would call double dribble is a double dribble, and traveling is very tight, very strict in high school basketball. Um, and then I watch these NBA games, and I swear when they hit that between the outside edge of the free throw area and the basket, they took what? They didn't dribble at all in that space, right?
But they got to the hoop.
They got to the hoop. How did they get? Now, I realize not everyone's Michael Jordan where he can just fly from the free throw line to the hoop. That's not happening every shot. But yet there's never any traveling called. I rarely see how many times they call traveling in one NBA game. Not much.
But when they do, it's like, wait, why did you call that time?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Not
know we're
the
dissing on the refs, but wow, it does seem like they get away with so double dribbles, but traveling in the NBA. I mean, it's basically a way of life for NBA players traveling.
yeah. I guess the league decided it's more entertaining to watch these guys do athletic acrobats on the court and let
Yeah.
them travel than restrict them to keeping them
Yeah.
on the ground.
It's
But
as if the only time they need to dribble the ball is when they're standing. If they stop and they dribble it while they're standing there, that's fine. But while they're moving, they went from one end of the court to the other, and I saw the ball hit the ground twice. Obviously there's traveling, right? I mean,
yeah, so with our 7 and 8 year olds, the first couple of games they didn't call anything, so the kids were in for a rude awakening when they started to call it. But
ooh, yeah,
I'm actually all for the refs slowly implementing more rules for the kids so that
right.
they understand, well, I can't do that anymore, so they have to
Yeah.
learn at some point.
Train them right. I agree.
Yeah.
Don't just unleash it on them when they hit varsity. I agree. You got to slowly unleash it, but still, when you're dealing with a 7-year-old, your expectations come on, right?
It's pretty interesting because the personality really shows through because some kids, they hear the whistle, they don't care. They just keep playing. The ref has to take the ball out of their hand and like, nope, I'm just going to keep traveling, double dribbling all my way down the court. Like, no, give me
The
the ball.
refs have to remove the ball.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the kids just keep
And
playing.
other
Whistles
kids, oh,
going.
a whistle. Okay, here's the ball. And they go back. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun.
It's
And
like
then
herding cats. It's herding
and
cats.
baseball started. So we have basketball and baseball happening at the same time. And it's a little over. It's a
Why
little
are
too
you
much right
doing
now.
double duty? And you're the coach for the basketball team, right?
Basketball, but not baseball. Not
Okay.
baseball. That was going to be too much.
Well, yeah, you can't. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to coach your kid's team
Yeah.
and have a kid on the team and have kids in other sports. That's just more than
Yeah.
one sport. Is it the same child that's in both baseball and basketball?
Yeah. So it's Saturday.
Well,
We have a basketball game at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is pretty early for us on a
brutal. That's
Saturday.
brutal for a Saturday. Brutal.
Can't be late. We're the coach. We have to be there early. And then we have practice for baseball at 2 o'clock. So there's a little bit of a gap where we have some time to rest. My son will be on his iPad, playing games for an hour or two, and then we're off to the next sport.
And you'll be Michael will be in the easy.
I hope
coming out.
Yes, wake me up so we're not late. Yeah.
No. Well, that keeps you good. But yeah, if Michael looks tired at all, we know why.
Because I am.
He has children in sports, and he's a coach. More power to you. I always admired the parents that were willing to coach and assistant coach. I did it briefly. I assisted. I was never a coach material. I just not that into sports. Football was my sport, but it's rough. It's a lot of work, and that's a lot of dedication. And I admire parents who are willing to go that extra mile to help out their kids and their kids' teams and other neighborhood kids. And yeah, that's really admirable. I can't say enough for you and people who do it. And then, of course, in the back of my head, I'm saying, better you than me. Better you than me. No.
Well, all baseball season, I'll be thinking that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, hey, we're talking about preparing for tomorrow's healthcare today, or preparing today for tomorrow's healthcare costs. Is that right?
Prepare today for tomorrow's healthcare cost. Yes. And we're going to be referencing 2 articles today. Okay. And it's 5 mistakes retirees make while regarding healthcare. And that's from a Forbes article, and then a CBS News article titled 5 Smart Ways to Manage Healthcare Costs During Retirement.
Yeah. Well, I know healthcare costs are one of the biggest expenses people will face in retirement. A lot of people may not realize that. A lot of people do, and that's what they're worried about. But healthcare and taxes. So today we're talking about healthcare.
Right. And we've been talking about this a little bit on the last couple of episodes, Tony, kind of one-offs as a part of planning for retirement. So when I saw these 2 articles, I thought this would be a really good opportunity to just kind of specifically talk about 5 key areas where people could really focus on avoiding mistakes before they retire. And as we know, healthcare costs just keep skyrocketing. So I know it's on a lot of people's minds.
Oh, exponentially. They've gone up. Healthcare costs have gone up exponentially. So we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes people make. What's mistake number 1?
Not budgeting or having a plan for healthcare, period, let alone the rising costs that are going to happen in retirement.
Right. That's a big one. Right.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, if you don't have healthcare costs worked into your plan for retirement and income you're going to need in retirement, you don't have a very good plan, because every stat I've seen shows that you're going to spend, especially for a couple, a lot of money out of pocket, even with Medicare, right?
Yeah, statistically for a couple, it's over $300,000 from retirement until death. Wow. So obviously it's a big chunk of change.
That's huge. That is a big chunk of change. And I think a lot of people are coming out of employer-sponsored plans, right? And
that's exactly what the first thing I was going to mention. We all typically work for an employer. Our healthcare is covered through our employer, so we don't really understand the ins and outs of what healthcare actually means to have. You have an HR department that shops for you, and you get to every year elect into possibly a new plan or keep the same one that you had before. But in retirement, now you have to be that HR coordinator. You have to go out and find the right Medicare plan for yourself if you're over 65, or if you're under 65, then you got to go through the whole um, healthcare market outside of Medicare and shop for yourself and possibly your family. So you have to educate yourself on what it means to have the plan that you typically or that you would like to have.
Yeah. I think that's really important. What else do we need to know? And what else is a part of this first mistake?
Just not understanding when they pick a plan what it's going to include and what it does not include.
Yeah. And what they'll pay, right?
Yes. So early retirees, we've talked about this before in the last two episodes. If you're on your employer's healthcare plan, but you retire before you're Medicare eligible, there's going to be a large gap of healthcare coverage. You got to find it yourself. And then it's a large expense once you do find the coverage.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really part of mistake number 2, which is assuming Medicare works like your employer-sponsored plan, like you said. I mean, because there's a lot to it, isn't there?
Yeah, if you're on a large group plan, it's usually spelled out for you. You have a deductible that you meet by the end of the year, and then everything's covered, or you have co-pays depending on the type of current plan that you're on. It's usually one or the other. Money's coming out of pocket, but you understand. But when you're applying for your own program, it could be a combination of deductibles, co-pays, specialists. Is it all at one location, or am I driving across town and finding specialists and finding my primary care physician? So it's a lot of coordination that goes
Yeah.
into
Wow.
finding the right plan.
Right. So don't assume Medicare is going to work like your employer-sponsored plan. A lot of people don't even realize their employer-sponsored plan covers probably half the cost of their health insurance.
Yes.
Their employer does. Larger companies are required to cover at least that much in many states. So, but yeah, it can influence a lot. Healthcare costs are more than you think they'll be, and they have to cover a lot. And estimating these costs then is critical. Working with somebody like yourself, I know you work alongside Medicare specialists and people like that to help your clients figure out, okay, how much are you going to be paying for healthcare in retirement? And how can we plan for that ahead of time? Right.
You hit it right, the nail on the head on that one, Tony. We're on the same playing field right here, because that's exactly what I was going to say. It's a plan. You got to have a health plan. You got to have a financial plan. They kind of go hand in hand in this instance when we need to start to figure out the costs. When you're putting a financial plan together, you don't want to be reactive. You want to be proactive. Same with figuring out your healthcare costs. You don't want to wake up one day, realize you're no longer on your employer's health plan, and start to make decisions. You should probably do your research. Find a professional if it's not your financial advisor, a healthcare plan provider. Find a specialist, someone that knows the industry, that can help you put a roadmap together for yourself for the future.
Yeah. That's huge. Okay. What's the next mistake?
Um, Overlooking what Medicare doesn't cover. So we've talked about being on an employer's plan. Maybe there's a gap, but let's specifically talk about Medicare eligibility.
Okay.
And if you are in retirement and you're paying for your own healthcare already, I think some people are really surprised when they find out what Medicare does and does not do.
Yeah. What are some of the things then that Medicare does not cover?
Yeah, I mean, vision, hearing, and dental expenses are not covered in Medicare.
Wait, the 3 things that seniors need most, and that's what those are the first 3 things that go as we get older, right?
Yeah, what did you say, Tony? Oh, can't hear you because my
I'm
hearing's
the
gone
old
back 'cause I've
man
gotten
here.
older.
Yeah, but, yeah, hearing, vision, and dental, that is crazy that traditional Medicare doesn't cover it. I know, and that's why I know you've talked about, advantage plans and supplemental plans, but you have to
Exactly.
get a plan to cover those things, and there are still gonna be co-pays and premiums and deductibles and out of pockets, right?
Right. And so we've done a seminar on Medicare in the past. It really is a very informative seminar. So if you have questions about what does Medicare cover for me, or what are some supplemental insurances that I should be aware of, give us a call, reach out to us. We can walk you through some of those pitfalls that people or questions that they might have. We can help you with that. So 916 469 9016, or you can go to the website, thematterfinancialgroup.com, schedule an appointment. We can answer some of those questions for you.
Right. I know a question a lot of people have when you talk about what Medicare does not cover and what it does cover. Medicare, does it cover long-term care?
I knew that's what you were going to say next. That's why I was smiling. So if you're watching us on YouTube, I wanted to stop you right there and say, Tony, you're stealing my thunder.
Okay.
But yes, that's exactly long term. I think people are really confused. Again, what does Medicare actually provide? And it does not provide long term care coverage. It's a total separate cost and different entity. So if you do qualify for some sort of government assistance for long term care, that means you've did not have a plan going into it, or you've exhausted all of your assets before you could qualify for some sort of a government assistance in long term care. It is
Yeah,
not covered under Medicare.
no, you have to be completely broke before Medicaid or a state through the state will cover that long-term care. So otherwise, long-term care isn't covered. Medicare does not cover long-term care, right?
Right.
That's
And
what you're
so
saying.
the second reason why I wanted to talk about this topic today is the last couple of meetings I've had with potential clients. One of their main questions were surrounding, how do I work with my clients on crafting a plan for long-term care or healthcare costs? And I let them know, just like we always do on every episode, that everyone is in a different situation. Every plan is different. So before we actually give you a solution, we need to figure out what are the possible pitfalls and what are your goals. But once we figure those underlying issues out, then we have probably an answer for you. But it's all a part of going through the planning process first.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I know there are a lot of different tools out there. I mean, for long-term care and, traditional long-term care insurance, I think has kind of gone the way of it's gone the way of the pension or the buffalo. It's kind of disappeared, right? So there are insurance companies that have gotten more competitive. I know there's hybrid policies, there's ways, other vehicles you can use with that will kick in if you need money for long-term care. You can plan for it depending on how much or how little you have. And that's why I agree with what you say. I think you make a great point here is that everybody's situation is different. So what you need to do to prepare for long-term care for you or your spouse is going to be different than someone else, another person or another couple. And so, yeah, I mean, and the stats are pretty high that you'll end up needing long-term care at some point. I mean, it's well over half, getting closer to two-thirds of people, if they make it to age 65 or more, will end up someday needing long-term care. So you got to look at that, plan for it. We'll do a whole other show on long-term care, but don't overlook what Medicare doesn't cover. As you said, that's a good one. What's mistake number 4?
We're still on the same page, Tony, because that leads right into it. It's ignoring lifestyle decisions. So you just mentioned that there's a high percentage of people that are going to need long-term care coverage. And some of that goes back to some of the lifestyle changes or lifestyle decisions that they made up until the point of needing that care. So not ignoring maybe some of the lifestyle decisions that you're making today can maybe help avoid being a part of that statistic of needing long-term care down the line.
Like what? What should we be focusing
Well,
on?
let's see here. What's one of our favorite topics to talk about on the show, Tony? I think it's pizza,
Pizza. That's
right?
my favorite
So,
topic.
yes, it's mine too. I love to eat
Yeah.
it. I love to
Yeah.
make it,
Yep, me too.
but we can't have it every single day. So, just looking at
What?
some of the things that lead to possible healthcare pitfalls down the line.
So diet, exercise, things like that, right?
Sleep. Apparently, we need to get it.
Yep, more sleep. A lot of people
Could
don't
work
get
on
enough
that.
sleep, and if you, I bet a lot of people wish they had done that earlier. Started, more regular exercise, diet. A lot of retirees are like, "Man, if I'd just started doing this, I'd feel a lot better now and be able to enjoy my retirement a lot more." Right?
Yeah. it goes back to having a plan. So with your finances, right? Having a professional that can walk you through and having a roadmap for your finances in retirement. Uh, it's probably something you should do for your health as well, not just scheduling doctor's appointments, but figuring out, you know, Tony, there's being proactive and reactive. I think us men are notoriously very reactive when it comes to
Yes.
medical intervention, right? But maybe New Year's resolutions, don't usually last, but maybe having a plan, finding someone that you can trust that will hold you accountable, whether or not you have to pay that person to do that by finding a trainer or someone that's going to put a roadmap together for you to have a healthier lifestyle. ChatGPT can be a good resource. Just let them know these are my goals. Help me stay accountable. Give me some ideas to meet some of these goals. But we've been kind of joking about how this is a mistake that people make going into retirement and having health issues. But I've seen it firsthand with a lot of my clients that
Yeah. Yeah.
did not make the decision earlier in life. And when things start to go, it just goes really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that can happen. So don't ignore those lifestyle decisions that can affect long-term health care, and that because that'll affect long-term healthcare costs. So now we're on the final mistake you wanted to talk about. What is mistake number 5?
Obviously, our favorite one is not seeking professional help.
Yeah, don't make
Um,
that mistake. Seek
don't make that
professional
mistake.
help.
Give us a call. We're here to help. That's what we do. It's why we're in the business. We love to help people. So give us a call, 916-469-9016, or go to the website, the Matter Financial Group. If this is just your only worry, like, hey, I have some questions about my healthcare plan, give us a call. But obviously, we're here to help you put together a financial plan for you. And of course, one of the aspects that we're going to look into is healthcare costs for you in retirement, making sure that you don't run out of money.
Yeah, that's key. I know you like to talk about the key elements of what goes into your plan. You've mentioned tax planning is a big one, healthcare planning. Those are probably the two most expensive and most worrisome that people will have, and they need to address those if they're going to have a successful retirement and a financially sound retirement. And you've been doing this for a while, helping people with this. So before we go, once again, give that phone number and web address.
Yeah, I'll do it a little bit slower. I think I'm on my second energy drink of the day.
He's had about 40 cups of coffee before the show, people. Michael drank
So
about 40 cups of coffee today.
916-469-9016. So 916-469-9016, or you can go to the website, thematterfinancialgroup.com.
All right. Great show today. A lot of great information. Some information I need to take to heart. Get healthy. You'll have a happier retirement, right? And, it's like planting a tree. The best time to plant a tree, 20 years ago. The second best time, today. So do it today. A no charge, no obligation consultation with Michael and his team there and the Matter Financial Group. That does it for today's episode of the Matter Financial Report with our host, Michael Matter.